good morning. It's your boy, Judge Logic, here to bring you some logic. You know, I wake up every morning, do my routine. That's the message of today. Get a routine. Put positive stuff in the morning. I don't care what you do all day. You could trap life, prostitute, 9 to 5. I don't care what you do. Just showing you whatever your business is, whatever you do. Create a routine, and in the morning, put stuff in. How do you get in here? Here through the holes. You get inside the mind through the holes. Get inside here and put positive stuff in to help you deal with the negativity that you're going to face in the day. This is my own brand of tea. Not really marketing it or pushing it right now, just letting you guys know. You guys know I travel around the world. And when I was in Thailand and China, I met some people and I created my own tea. And it's amazing. But not for you guys right now. It's for me. But in my tea, for my morning routine, I put coconut oil to restore the brain. I had a friend that played in the NFL. And I met a doctor, and he said to tell your friend to take coconut oil every day to restore the brain. So I have coconut oil, and I found that very logical. Honey, coconut oil, and tea. And fresh mango. You understand? The best things in life are not that expensive. And in this video, I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna complain a little bit about some things that's not going right. Not complain like you would think, like, oh, why is this happening? Oh, why is this happening? Then I saw this video, and I was like, whoa. That's not logical for me to be ungrateful right now or worry about what I'm going through when people have to deal with stuff like that. So it instantly changed my momentum of my day. I instantly just started being grateful for what I have and the things I do have. The things like, ooh, I might keep that because I'm like a ninja the way I just caught that phone and it fell. But, this is my routine. Look at my friend, guys. ¿Qué tú preguntas a mí ahora?
¿Qué es lo que tú estabas haciendo en este mismo momento? Con mango, no sé qué es esto, creo que es té.
Té, sí.
Un libro y un martillo.
Porque soy un juez.
Los jueces llevan sombrero.
Yo sé. Remember what I told you guys? Jada, you heard what she said?
Jueces no llevan sombrero, pero si están en un lugar con sol, ahí sí pueden tomar sombrero.
Exactamente, por el sol. Buena idea. ¿Te gusta mi pelo? Es real.
Brillante.
Muy
brillante.
Gracias. ¿Y por qué tú no estás en la escuela ahora?
Ya salimos de vacaciones.
Explica de la gente.
Estamos de vacaciones.
Es las vacaciones.
No tenemos que ir a la escuela.
She don't got school today. We don't have to go to school. We're on vacation.
Bueno, me despido porque tengo que salir. Bye.
Bye, gracias. And I told you, if this is where I live, and if there's kids around, we're gonna be friends. Everybody knows that about me.
¿Cómo se llama tu canal?
¿Cómo se llama mi canal? Es de Conchas Viking. Yeah, there are expats in the country. Those are people who live abroad. But if you don't know the language, it's pretty hard to engage in the culture. And that was that was one of the things that I made a priority when I moved here, was to learn the language. And many don't, and they say how hard it is. But I bet if I studied your life, I can show you things you did that were hard, and you got it done because you were driven to do it. And it's the same thing with language or anything else. But that was cool that she came and was in the video. I didn't plan that. Shout out to my sister Jada, who I talked to this morning, and she said, Jason. And I said, I'm not Jason, I'm Judge Logic right now. Jada said, Judge Logic, you can't wear a hat in court. Judges don't wear hats. Same thing Cordell said, my little friend. And again, it's my courtroom. I'm Judge Logic. I make the rules. When I go to their court, if you look at my past, I've been to their courts 1,000,000 times. And I followed their rules because I had to. Now it's my court. And it's time to talk news. As I said, I wake up every morning. I don't watch the news. I get my current events probably from social media. In this video, basically, Glorilla. Apparently, like I said, I don't follow much going on around the world as far as news and current events. And I can check in and I can see what's going on like this and see what's going on. I can talk to you guys about it because nothing's new under the sun. Everything's been done. So, Glorilla wins the award. And what I'm going to discuss real quick is my thoughts on that and what Kirk Franklin had to say about it. Because it's interesting, these are the things that I'm talking about in the Christian world of why people are not getting to God. I'm not saying no Christians are getting to God, and because there are, but most that I meet, they have, I can't think of the word, but it's not, the relationship is how they were taught. And again, this is a relationship with whatever's out there. A relationship. Not a this is how you do it book and following the book. A relationship. So let's talk about Glorilla. Things first. She spoke about Dietrich Haddon. For those who don't know, he's a pastor that was a gospel artist first. I am super fan of Dietrich Haddon's music. Dietrich Haddon, I've been a fan of his for a long time. Now, his music is amazing. When they do tributes to Michael Jackson, I always wonder why he doesn't do it. Because his voice, the range that his voice can go, but you guys listen to the music and judge for yourself. Anyway, Dietrich Haddon was upset that Glorilla won the award. If you watch the interview further, I commend Kirk Franklin in some ways. And in a way of not feeding into that. I agree with Dietrich Haddon, some of the things he said. When he says a mockery of worship, that's kind of crazy because you're judging her lifestyle. And if she made a song, I got to go and listen to the song. I'm kind of ignorant for not listening to the song before speaking with y'all. But if the song is a gospel song, it's about God, that's what she felt in that moment. Dietrich Haddon has recorded 1,000,000 songs just like I have, just like Kirk Franklin has. And whatever feeling she was feeling when she went into that studio, that's what she was feeling. And she made that song. And you can't say God wasn't on it because God is on everything. Like, being upset about something going on in the world, like there's, if I really want to address it, I would say that there's bigger things going on. Like I showed you in the video earlier, there's kids getting bombed. There's bigger things to get upset about, and to get upset about that, which I'm not judging you. That's a natural emotion and you just express what you really felt. I respect that he told his truth. But that's what I mean. Like in our walk, we're working on anger. We're working on, and I'm not saying that he was angry to the point where he was banging things and all that. But the response of I'm angry, that's we grow through that. Like I see a lot of things I don't like in the world. I'm not angry at it because, I believe I don't judge God. When you say something is wrong with the world, you're judging God. And what's wrong with the world is free will. And that's what God gave us. We have free will because we can do whatever we want. So we can't believe God is in full control over the earth because we have free will. That's why I always say I meet God through grace and mercy. The things that I can't explain. That's where God lies for me. Like when I get the help that I ask for that comes from unexplainable places. The tattoo. They say God, I say ineffable.
Be real, bro.
Gang, gang.
Gang, 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 gang. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. God bless him and God bless them.
Great answer. Great answer. It is what it is. God bless him. God bless her. Exactly. He's trying to be politically correct. He doesn't want to disrespect Dietrich Haddon because that's his fellow Christian brother. He doesn't want to disrespect Glorilla because he knows how important those young fans are. Whether it's for his career, whether it's for people getting to God, but I don't know. I don't know Kirk Franklin. I will say that in the past, I don't agree with some things that Kirk Franklin does because I actually met him because I worked on Joyful Noise and we did a couple of scenes together in Joyful Noise, that movie. And when we go through that, I have some funny stories in that movie with him that some people said to him in the movie that were working with me that they're pretty funny. Disrespectful, but funny. Kirk Franklin has put out great music for years. It was always weird to me that he always uses choirs and singers and people like that, and they don't get no credit. As a musician, as an artist, the level Kirk Franklin is at, think about it. You know all his songs, but you don't know who sings them. He don't sing, so it couldn't have been him. So I've always had a little issue with that, back then. Now, I don't care. That's what I mean about Dietrich Haddon. I've grown to the point where it's him, just like he said, God bless him with whatever he's doing. I'm just showing y'all the realness that I didn't agree a lot of years, and I still wouldn't agree with it, but I don't care. That's the artist's fault. But I understand the level that it is to be on a Kirk Franklin album, so the artist will do whatever it takes to get there. But again, if love is in your heart, if you care about the people, if you're walking with God, God would have said or reminded you to add those people in. God always hits me in the head. When I ain't acting right. And I know that's something that God would have told me. But yeah, good answer, Kirk Franklin. Good answer. I like that. God bless him. God bless her. Because that's what I mean about you can't, when I say I don't care, you can't care. You can have an opinion, you can talk about it, but when you care to the point where it affects your livelihood, now you're attached to it. And attachment, that's the problem. And I'm not attached to who wins the gospel award. I'm not attached to gospel music. I'm not attached to anything. I just watch it, enjoy it, have an opinion, and keep it pushing.
About that,
I like that what he's saying. He's basically saying that he's staying focused on God, on the mission, and the noise gets you off. And I agree with that. But you're on a show to entertain the noise. That's why you went there. And he felt, and that's what I mean about Christianity. He felt that he had to say that part. It was obligatory. It was part of the religion. It's what makes God happy. It's how you make God happy. That you say, God so loved the world that he sent his only son to die for our sins so that we won't perish and we'll end up in heaven. How does that help? Like you have the platform of the world. How does that statement help the next person? I get it. You're trying to get them to understand to go follow Jesus, but you're giving them a dilemma that you don't realize. You're telling them basically that they won't perish if they do this. So it's like a threat, in essence. Think about it. It's a threat. If you don't do this, you will not have this. And again, we know the outcome. You'll go to hell. And in his mind, he's trying to save people from going to hell. Again, watch my episode on heaven and hell, and you'll see that's what I mean about it's not logical. You don't know about hell. You're guessing about hell. You think there's a burning place he's going to. You think that that's the message you're supposed to put out. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to be Jesus. You're not supposed to preach Jesus. You're supposed to be Jesus. And in being Jesus, you will preach Jesus. You were being Jesus when you said, I'm not feeding into all that foolishness. God bless him. God bless her. Let's keep it pushing. And here's why. I'm not saying you're supposed to be Jesus as you're pure and perfect as he was. Jesus was the perfect human being. We are working to be the perfect human being. We're growing every day, every day, every day. And if there's not only one life, if reincarnation is real, which it's one of my beliefs, belief, because I don't know anybody who died and came back, but my belief is in reincarnation because God is love, and I don't believe God would just give us one chance to get this right. To get to the Jesus level, one chance, it's pretty difficult. What helps people is being the change you want to see and giving them the food that they need to grow, to get closer to God, not for God's sake, for their sake, so their life can be more powerful, more fun, more joyful, more peaceful. And it is more fun when you don't let them tell you how to do it. So, let's get back to the interview.
You've been doing that since I was a little girl. Like, cry us, the youth.
Huh? Huh? Did she say us, the youth? Logically, I'm not gonna touch on that. But us, the youth. All right. But she's saying that he met them where they're at. Yeah, it's true. You know, Kirk Franklin was never known to judge people. God, everybody's with God. That's what everybody needs to realize. Church is not with God. Christians are not with God. Everybody's with God. It's just who's listening and who's not. Doesn't matter if you're in church, in mosque, in temples, it's who's listening and who's not. And to listen, you have to get quiet and you have to learn how to listen. You got to learn how to hear God. It takes time. And that's what Jesus is about. That's what these leaders teach us. She said not all Christianity and churches, it doesn't all look alike. But it does. But when you're doing real Christianity, when you're doing real Judaism, when you're doing real Muslim, Buddhist, when you're doing it for real, it does all look the same. Because the same things are coming out your mouth. Things that create growth, peace, love, happiness, joy. But in America, there's not a lot of good examples. But there's great teachers within religion that are teaching great principles and great truths, because to get to where I'm at, it started with Christianity. You know, I've been condemned by pastors like Mace. Mace, I'm looking for you. We got to finish up that conversation. But I've been in conversations with Mace and kind of, like condemned for who I am, for what I do, because I didn't fit in the mold.
And you stamp it, and we like, oh, we know Kirk Frank. This is who all of our mothers and grandmothers frowned upon. You know what I mean?
Facts, facts, facts. Anybody, God can use anybody. That's the truth. That's the truth. But she's not the bridge. She's not the bridge. You can't be the bridge if you're teaching people how to get to God one day or one time out the week, and the other 6 days you're doing something else, or the other 23 hours, or the other 11 months out the year, you're promoting something else. She can inspire, she can motivate, she can touch. She has a platform where she can. But be realistic. How many people listen to her and then saying, all right, I got to go to, get my life right. Go to church, go to mosque, go to temple. That's not what's happening with fans of Glorilla. And you know it. I don't have a problem with her winning the award. If she won Best Gospel Artist, that would be crazy. Come on, y'all know why. I don't have to explain it. But if she won Best Gospel Song, like to get mad at that, you have to get mad at all the Best Rap Artists, Best, because all those awards, not all, but a lot of them go to people undeserving. You're just picking one because it's religious, to talk about. And again, it's music. And it doesn't matter where you come from, what you do, it's the best gospel song. And I'm not saying it is, but if that's what they said, that was the voters. That's what they said. It's their show. It's their thing. BET Awards is whoever is running it, it's their thing. So whoever they want voting, whoever they want in, that's how it goes. You can't fight it. It's not logical that she's the bridge.
You say bridge because it connects from here to there and it gets us there. The bridge gets us there. She got them on the bridge maybe, but she didn't get them across the bridge. She's not the bridge. She can be, but she's not.
Kirk. Great answer. Great scripture to use. If they're a Muslim, if they're a Buddhist, and Kirk won't agree with this. Because again, Christianity is the way. And you have to know the Son so you don't perish, blah, 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 blah. Like I tell my Jewish friend, Rabbi Buffed Ed, check out his page. He's a real Jew. I don't believe there's many real Jews, because one, there's a book that tells you how to be a Jew, and two, you have to move with love first. So when I say you have to move with love first, you have to move with Jesus first. He would never use the name Jesus, but he represents Jesus. He walks by love, peace, joy, all the things that Jesus taught, he lives by. Real talk. So Kirk, my advice to you, someone who's experienced and a professional in working with youth, been working with the youth since 2007, directly with the youth. And my advice to you as a pro in this area, be real, man. Be you. You know, you'll say you're being you, but I guarantee you wasn't you when you talk to Bishop T.D. Jakes or Elder Earl or Sister Shirley, or when you don't say, oh, Jesus rolled up with his gang and he was with his boys, and when they went over, come on, be you. People, kids, young people see through everything. You know, they be you. They'll respect it. They'll respect you. When you start shifting and shaping and all that, like I said, I agree with your message. It works better. Trust me. But or you can keep doing what you're doing. I don't care. It's none of my business. Just advice. Be you. Oh, that the gang and he met up and he didn't like his homies and come on, man. In person, people look for you. Authenticity, realism. And if you're changing and shape shifting, you talk to this person like that. When I was in the church, people knew me like that. Ask Pastor Mace. He's not pastor no more, but ask him. When I was in his church and we had a conversation, that's what he talked about. He said, you're so regular. You've been coming to my church for this long. You wear those clothes. You look regular. He's like, but you have so much. And I said, look at yourself. Have you forgotten because you wear the suits and ties? You have tattoos too. You have everything. You look like me too. You just got on a suit and tie. But if I read the book and I believe it and I utilize what Jesus said, then I grow and I become an asset for the world. That's how it works. Not telling them Jesus is my Lord and Savior. No, I use the teachings to grow, and now the person that comes with the situation to break me, it can't break me. I won't get upset. I won't feed into it. I won't punch them in their face because I'm growing. I'm growing, and growth helps. Growth helps. Like the spiritual growth of growing me as a person helped me to where now I can have conversations with millionaires. Where back in the days I would have got offended or angry, and I would have, I was always known for speaking my mind, but spirituality has taught me to bite my tongue. And in life, if you want to grow, you have to bite your tongue. You have to understand that a millionaire is on a limited time frame, and they don't have all day to talk to you. They're doing stuff. So you got to get to the point. Again, that comes from my growth spiritually, because there's things I don't like in them that I would have expressed in the past. There's things they say to me that I would have got offended and responded back to them. So the spirituality walk, it does work in the world when you use it. But I'm not fake with it. I don't talk. This is how I talk. Look at Judge Logic. Look at the Viking. Look at the Conscious One. We all speak the same. It's just with different messages. Facts, facts, facts. I went to, as I told y'all, when I come here and talk this religious and spiritual stuff, you have to respect the time I put in and the experience. And he's so right. I've been to T.D. Jakes' church. I've been to Eddie Long's church. I've been to Creflo Dollar's church. I've been to Mace's church. I've been to Andrew Womack's church. I've been to Victory Church. I've been to Life Church. I've been to Joel Osteen. I've been to all of them, and he's so right. I was never taken serious. I was in Zachary Tim's church for at least 5 to 10 years. Going to the outreaches, doing everything. And I'm telling you, those people, when they dealt with me and speak with me, when we went to the hood. When we went to the hood to do outreaches, that's when those people would come to me and cling to me and like be around me. Like these church religious folk that I would see every day in church and never talk to me. We go do an outreach in the hood and they want the Viking on their side. So Kirk, absolutely. Absolutely. You have to look the part, you have to play the part. That's why I never got accepted. That's why I didn't want to be a deacon. I didn't want to be a youth minister. I just want to help the youth. And I've been offered by churches. At one church, and only because I was close with the family of the pastor, like before church, because his brother was in the streets with me. So when we all started going to church together, I already knew them. So we became close. And he asked me to be the youth minister at his church. And the only reason he let me in is because we knew each other before and we were basically family. That's why. But no other church ever offered me a position, ever talked to me, ever asked me anything, ever wanted to really speak to me. Like, that's so true what you're saying, Kirk. You have to look the part. Closing with, he's what matters. That's what matters. That's what's important. I'm just going to break that down to what that means in English, logically. It's saying grow. Focus on the teachings of Jesus, the teachings of Muhammad. He's not saying that, but I am. The teachings of Muhammad, the teachings of Buddha, the teachings of Malachi York, the teachings of, I could keep going forever. Like I say, even the pastors, Andrew Womack. If you can listen to the pastors and filter out what's for you and what's not, then they're great, because you will grow. But that's what's important, growing. Growth. And if you keep your eyes on him, like he's saying, if you keep focusing on him, you will grow, because it'll make you read spiritual texts that will connect you with that, and that will teach you how to grow, whatever that is. So That's what I say. In closing, congratulations, Glorilla. Again, you can't judge a Glorilla because you don't know who she's going to be later. And when she comes back and talks about everything that's going on now, it's going to help somebody out there. So stay on your path. Keep doing you. Glorilla, keep growing. Don't let nobody tell you nothing. You don't have to look a certain way to find God. But just stay on your path. Kirk, you too. I would give him the same message. Get into your stuff and really understand. You know, like don't be... You're repeating the same rhetoric that Christians have been repeating for years that's not affecting people. Nobody watched that show and said, yes, excuse me. Most people I know didn't watch that show and say, I'm going to go be a Christian now. I'm going to go find God. But motivate people to do better. Motivate people to be Jesus. Not just read Jesus, be Jesus. And if you have a problem with that, remember, he said you will do greater things. So, and I don't mean be Jesus. Be the Jesus in you. You show you who you are, moving with love, peace, joy, understanding. And in closing, as usual, always remember brat. Brat. Remember brat. Belief guides us. Religion divides us. Actions define us, and truth refines us. I'm your boy, Judge Logic. I'm out. Tip my hat. And we'll see you next time.
I'm still in the way, but long as I pray, I'm still in the game. Losing the chains of being a slave. Getting to God, I'm changing the game. Religious chains, we changing the way. Religious ways, we changing the game. Changing the game. Taking the church. Taking the church. Up and away. Up and away.